Trump has taken his deportation plans now to include Americans. He thinks that for a small fee, we should ship Americans that he doesn't like to foreign countries so that they're no longer in the United States. Kylie, play the clip.
They even break into apartments and rape elderly women and beat up elderly men, beat them to hell. And I don't want these violent repeat offenders in our country any more than I want illegal aliens from other countries who misbehave. And I say, and this is subject to getting it approved, but if they've been arrested many, many times, they're repeat offenders by many numbers. I want them out of our country. I also will be seeking permission to do so. We're going to get approval, hopefully, to get them the hell out of our country along with others. Let them be brought to a foreign land and maintained by others for a very small fee as opposed to be maintained in our jails for massive amounts of money, including the private prison companies that charge us a fortune. Let them be brought out of our country and let them live there for a while. Let's see how they like it. You'll see crime all over the country.
So nothing's wrong with your computer. We have sped up the president's voice, the convicted felon's voice, to make it less painful to hear. But what I have to say about this, and I've been thinking about this quite a bit, is I've been thinking about the word appeasement and the role it played in World War II. And right now we have a president of the United States whose top advisor did 2 Sieg Heils and has a history of promoting and defending Nazi-style rhetoric. And there was another person that also tried to deport his own citizens, German citizens, and that was Hitler. And so this is all very dangerous language. And sometimes I think, should we take this seriously that he's talking about this? Yes, we should. He's the president of the United States, and he always says this kind of stuff. And then lo and behold, it starts getting implemented. And so my question to you, Pumps, and to everybody is, should the Democrats just go full nuclear right now and say, we're not voting for anything for you until, we're seeing Nazi-style rhetoric, we're hearing dictator and Nazi-style policies that you're proposing. So across the board, we don't care who it is, what it is, we're a firm no. And I turn on the mainstream news just so I kind of know what's being reported for our show. And I rarely see any Democrats on there. I mean, the one thing Trump does well is he sends his whole team out, and they are top of the hour on every news channel with hardly any counter programming.
I absolutely think it's time for the Democrats to swing into action. They have been sitting there doing nuanced politics, policy points, and we're way past that. Trump is a clear and present danger to our democracy. One thing I just saw this morning was Russian TV is sitting around saying, we can't wait for our girl, Tulsi Gabbard, to get into office, and our boy, Kash Patel. And with Kash Patel's going to arrest him, and Pam Bondi is going to prosecute them. So, I mean, when you look at it as a Democrat in power and you say Russia is on TV cheering, like chomping their lips to get to a point where Tulsi Gabbard, Pam Bondi, and Kash Patel are in office, you've got big problems. And it's time to have a big scale response. You cannot play integrity politics. You can't talk about, oh, well, let's see if we can, negotiate and do bipartisan. You need to immediately act. We are not going to work with people that are fascists and dictators, full stop. But guess what, Jennifer? I have zero hope that's going to happen.
What's worse is long before this report from, and Russia TV constantly trolls the United States with propaganda. This isn't new. So they've been doing this for years now. What's more insidious about the whole thing is a lot of the people that are going to vote either thumbs up or thumbs down for these people have security clearances, and they've known about the Russian information and disinformation, propaganda, psychological warfare campaign in the United States for well over a decade now. They have far more information than these blowhards on Russian propaganda TV have. And so that shouldn't be the alarm bell. They have
Right.
much more data than we have. All of that is a ploy by Putin to just kind of troll a little bit. But the information that our government has regarding Russia's plans for us is far more insidious than that.
Oh, absolutely. And like you said, they've known about the bell should have been sounded a long time ago. Another thing I wanted to bring up is, as he said he would, and to no shock, Trump has gone in to the Justice Department, his administration, and cleared out everyone in the Justice Department that investigated his crimes. And I say his crimes because, based on the reports we've seen from Jack Smith and the guilty verdict from New York, we know that Donald Trump has committed crimes, full stop, stealing nuclear secrets. So here's what's interesting to me about this. Like, this didn't even raise my blood pressure. I knew this was going to happen. What shocked me most was I was reading all these reports that everyone within the Justice Department was scrambling. They were so surprised that I'm like, this is the least surprising thing other than him releasing the January 6th criminals. This is the least surprising thing. He has absolutely taken the Justice Department and turned it into his own vendetta department. And he is going to go after everybody that went after him because he could give a flying frog's fat ass about policy or helping the American people. It is his petty grievances that he intends to avenge during this presidency.
I think what's more frightening than this is the Friday night massacre of, I believe it was 13 to 15 inspector generals. And Trump campaigned starting in 2016 about draining the swamp and all this stuff. He is about to put in the swampiest, underqualified, sycophantic people. And we used to attempt to have transparency and accountability. He's removing every bit of that. He has frozen the CDC working with WHO. He's canceled our partnership with WHO. He is erasing any evidence that could come forward over the 4 years that could hold him accountable. If there is a pandemic, he knows that COVID really tanked him and his handling of that and the data and the facts surrounding it. So he's removed that. This morning, news just broke that he has frozen all federal grants and loan money going out. And this is beyond the scope of his role in the executive branch. These funds were voted on and approved by Congress, and these Congress people were elected. Again, I'm going to go back to the word appeasement. And we know how dangerous appeasement was in World War II. We know what happened when the United Kingdom and other countries in Europe appeased Hitler. Right now, Trump has said the enemy is from within. And right now, I see that the people who Trump deems to be the enemy are people that disagree with him and hold him accountable for his crimes and his lies and just all around being a dick. These are the people he wants to come after. And a lot of these people in Congress and in the Senate right now are exercising appeasement. I think there needs to be an iron lock rebellion that we will not vote for anything, period. You have a literal Nazi doing Sig Heils from your inauguration stage. You're subverting law by canceling inspectors general, and that is illegal. And we are not going to appease you because we all know what appeasement does and what appeasement leads to, which brings us back to your first point, him wanting to deport American citizens, which is what Hitler did when he took German Jews and deported them to concentration camps. So we can sit here and pretend like what Donald Trump says, is he serious? Should we take him for real? Yeah, we should, because he has a very serious job. So we should take everything he says at face value and respond accordingly and have a very strong posturing not to appease one iota of this Nazi shit.
I couldn't agree more. And on the transparency issue, Lindsey Graham was on the Sunday shows this weekend saying, yes, Trump broke the law. Technically, he broke the law. Here's the thing. He doesn't give a shit about breaking the law. He doesn't care. He knows the Supreme Court's not going to hold him accountable. So he's happy to fire everybody, and they write letters to Congress, and he's like, I don't care. And as to the transparency issue, like, I was just reading an article this morning that egg prices are skyrocketing because of the bird flu outbreaks. Do you know how we know about the bird flu outbreaks? Because of foreign organizations letting us know. Trump has stopped all outside communication to the public about any kind of health crisis. So the bird flu, I read that Kansas is a hot pocket for tuberculosis. Be that as it may, there are going to be issues, health issues, that happen during the next 4 years. There always are. Handling of those issues is the difference in life and death. And Trump, he is going to say, oh, there's no such thing as bird flu. Oh, we don't have any kind of outbreak, because he's not allowing agencies to report on this. And I keep thinking to myself, who is the person responsible for suing and getting these records? And then I think, he doesn't care. If a judge says you have to release these health reports, he's going to say, no, I don't. I don't care. So, I mean, we've got fires on every level going out, and I'm starting to get really concerned. Like, the price of eggs is the least of the problems when it comes to the lack of transparencies with these health organizations.
Well, and the reason why he's removing all of that is because it is accountability.
That's
and
right.
he's accountability averse,
Mhm.
and he is surrounded by a lot of people who just want to own the libs. And I think at the core of Trumpism, it's not, people don't see what Trump can do for him. They see how he can injure the people they hate.
I mean, that is so true. They would rather pay higher prices for eggs and see people that they don't like be discriminated against and harmed. Wow, that's a sad state of affairs. One thing I just wanted to point out is Trump's proposed tax cuts. Kylie, if you'll put that on the screen. And so if you will notice, the richest, the top 1% are getting the largest tax break. The next highest tax break goes to the top 4%. So the top 5%, and that's $360,000 annually and above, will be getting tax cuts. Everybody else is going to pay more taxes. And the biggest tax increase will be to the families making $94,000 to $152,500. So middle America is going to pay for the rich to pay less taxes, as everybody knew they would. And it sickens me how people vote against their own self-interests.
I'm going to say it one final time. They are voting for the interest of him attacking the people they hate. They value that more than they value their own self-worth. That is the epicenter of MAGA Republicanism and Trumpism. It's all about injuring, and cruelty is the point. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow.